Welcome everyone, this is Lavender Sky Panther. Today is Thursday, April 30th, 2020. And today we're going to cover a topic just called Sky Angels to Earth Banyans. It's a collection of images and photos taken between April 20th and April 29th, 2020. Okay, so before we kick it off with some sky observations, we're first just going to take a look at this, and I'd like to say welcome and warm greetings. So good day, osio, how, buongiorno, guten tag, kia ora, jambo, buenos dias, bonjour, ni hao, dzień dobre, and I'd like to skip ahead to aloha, awinala, and galimera. So today's little starter image is of a hibiscus flower, fresh from the garden. And I'd like to just mention a very quick and easy way to make your own hibiscus flower tea fresh. So basic steps are just to gather the flowers, clean them, crush up all the parts, add other ingredients as you wish, and boil the water with everything in it, and then filter the tea. So of course, be sure to gather flowers from a bush or tree that you trust, meaning it has not been exposed to pesticides nor any unwanted or unhealthy related animal contact. So optional ingredients can be used such as orange, cinnamon, honey, tamarind, lemon, blueberry, lavender, rose water, rose hip, and so on. So do search online for more detailed information if you're interested in making your own tea. And there's a lot of great how-to sites out there, such as I just found a quick and easy one that seemed easy to follow was on instructable.com if you look up hibiscus tea. Okay, well, here we go to kick it off. Just seemed to be an undeniable sky angel, so I captured it, the head and the arms, the body and the wings. This is just a zoom in on some of the cloud quality just to give you a sense of the cloud in detail. So this was on April 20th toward the evening looking north. Now this was an interesting set of clouds. I call it an odd cloud cluster. So a storm started brewing. This was on April 26th at 7:40 looking northwest. And all of this was headed right at me, blowing overhead and heading toward the southeast. Now what struck me as odd was these very ellipsoidal or discoidal type shapes that were forming and seemingly in mass. And so this one started to show evidence of like some type of strange groove or separation in the cloud. So I zoomed in and altered the contrast and color and a few other things just to see if I could pull anything out in there. And I just kind of see these things and still this groove. So I'm not sure if this is a craft trying to cloak or it just happens to be an odd cloud, but I thought I would just show it and document it, for everybody in case you're interested. Also, this is a zoom in on a photo that I took a split second later from this one because I noticed some birds were flying over and I wanted to catch them just to give a little variety to the photo. And they came across and they formed a perfect triangle. So that's not anything unusual. That's just birds. This is, though, however, something that seemed a little bit unusual to me. Okay, in that same storm cluster, it just kept coming, and I noticed my camera was having a real hard time focusing on anything, and that never happens, even when it's sunny or when it's cloudy, and yet it was happening all over the place here. I mean, this looks like I put it in a Photoshop filter with some of those artistic effects. However, I didn't. This is straight from the camera, like, everything else is fine. So I don't know what was happening, so I zoomed in on this because it just seemed to be a very odd shape kind of emerging. And actually, you can actually see it here too with the naked eye, but I altered the contrast, zoomed in, and actually it looks like a tooth. But to me, it felt like there could be an object in this particular cloud cluster. Unlike the previous one, there may or may not have been anything. So I just have craft and cloud with a question mark, and you check it out and see what your gut level, reaction is to it, and see if you think it's just craft or cloud. All right, around 7:35, looking southeast, just noting this is a sky disturbance, because all of this started shaking up and emerging at one time. It just looked odd, and this was even spherical with like a hole in it, while this seemed very angular, almost like wings, so just thought I'd capture it and show it with you guys and girls. All right, here I'm calling this a rogue cloud puff. This is from April 20th, around 5:15, looking east in the afternoon. And everything seemed to be kind of hazy, like this little bit of haze or these, what I've been calling sky wisps or some kind of wispy activity. It did not seem to be chemtrails, however. So this was just very weird because everything looked more like this haze, and yet we had this one puff coming across. It was just very odd. So I just zoomed in and tried to bring out whatever I could. I didn't get much, but I thought this was a weird little indentation. But I'm just going to leave it at that. It was just a rogue very odd cloud. Okay, speaking of odd clouds, I'm calling this bent cloud because that's what it is. I don't know what else to call it. You know, it was moving in this direction and holding its form. It was just very bizarre, so I captured it. That was on April 24th. And then again, in the same family, a little bit later, here's a crescent-like cloud kind of doing its own thing. And then you have all these little, you know, stray clouds, not really in any kind of formation or any rhyme or reason that makes sense to me. With this blanket haze on a white glaring sun, it's backlighting these a little bit, but you know, it was just too weird not to capture and share. And again, that's also from April 24th at around 5 p.m. Okay, now this is just for fun. This is one of those things where you see shapes in the clouds, and I couldn't help but catch this one looked like a lioness with her eyelash and nose and mouth and mane of hair. And then this seemed to be like a bearded man, or you know, nose and mouth, or maybe just he has long hair. But anyway, I thought that was just fun. Again, just sharing this one for fun. Okay, now also on April 24th, this was at about 2:50 p.m. looking up, just noticed this big, you know, diamond shape cloud, darker cloud with this glaring sun. And it just always seems ironic that there's always some kind of cloud mass covering the sun these days, especially when it's white and glaring. So I wanted to catch that. And then on here, it just seems to be a disturbance of either electromagnetic wave activity, either happening in the atmosphere coming from some source, or maybe from above what we can see, above the cloud layer, generating some ripples coming down. I'm not sure. Or it could be a craft cloaking for all I know. But it just seemed to carry a very distinct rectangular form emerging, and I thought it would be worth noting it. Alright, now this was truly bizarre. This was recently on April 28th, a little bit after 4 p.m. looking west, and I just noted white sun, low wisp layer beneath the clouds. So looking up, I see not only the glaring white ball again with clouds somewhat covering it, but then this stuff looked like it was either streaks or wisps trailing off of the clouds, and I thought, what is going on with the clouds? But then the closer I looked, this was just actually a wisp layer passing by, all of this on the same layer, far below these clouds, although these clouds are low, and not too far above the treetop here. So this is a very tall palm tree, and this stuff was maybe happening 20 feet above it, so not very high. So it came very low overhead, and I don't know what's going on in our atmosphere to cause this. So is our magnetosphere weakening, and things are pushing the clouds down, you know, closer to the ground and changing the consistency of the vapor in the cloud? Or is there plasma layers playing around in the atmosphere and those are getting affected? Or are we getting pressure from other planetary bodies coming nearby to change the atmosphere? I don't know, but something in my mind is truly happening because of how low some of these clouds and wisp forms are starting to travel overhead. So again, if you have any interesting angles or ideas or perspectives or thoughts on it, please let me know in the comments below. Alright, here we go again. These very weird wispy-like activity with these clouds. And these all look like swooshes. They were all curved upwards. So I don't know what could possibly be causing this. So again, I wanted to capture it, and I would really love your thoughts on it as well. Alright, so if you've watched any of my other videos or shows, I like to close on a note of nature, kind of ground us back down to earth. And in this one, I'm covering the hibiscus. So the etymology is from Greek hibiscus, for mallow or marshmallow plant. And the name hibiscus is attributed to Pedanius Dioscorides of, let me just say, Anazarbos, I think that's how you say it. And he was a Greek physician, botanist, and author. It's well worth looking into his history. It's pretty interesting. From what I understand, he operated among the Roman Empire and went around collecting different things that could be used as medicine and drugs at the time. But anyway, the hibiscus plant does have medicinal properties. We talked about the herbal tea, how it can be taken as a tea. And some say, now, you know, it's up to your body if this works or if it works for you, that it relieves or can lessen fever, high blood pressure, that it can help treat bacterial infections. Some say you can crush up the flower and use it topically as a skin healing treatment. It supposedly helps with upset stomach and more. So do your own research on that, and as always, if you're having teas or anything, just make sure it jives with your body, and if your body likes it, it should be okay, and if not, don't keep drinking it. But anyway, do see your doctor if there's anything of concern, of course, and otherwise, these herbal things like teas are mild enough to try it if you are so guided. All right, well, I want to say thank you for grounding here a while. I appreciate you sticking through the show, and I like to close on a kind of a photo of the week, so to speak, and this is the banyan tree. Now, when they start growing in groups enough, they can even form tunnels like this one did over the street, and it gives a really nice shadow sun play pattern on the ground. So the banyan trees, if you're not familiar with them, they're called Ficus bengalensis. Wait, I knew I was going to mess that up. Bengalensis, and they're found in India, Sri Lanka, Africa, Hawaii, Florida, and in other places. They are considered to be a sacred tree in parts of India and can symbolize immortality, longevity, stability, adaptability, and more. They contain flower-bearing structures, ciconia, pollen, seeds, and they too have medicinal properties. So shoots come out from the branches and they drop down to the ground and take root, forming new trunks, and then one tree starts to become a seeming network of trees spreading outward far past its original footprint, so it does look like a little mini forest at times. So they're beautiful trees. If you're not familiar with them, do some research and find out more about the world of the banyan tree. So again, I just want to say thank you to everyone. If you are a Star Wars enthusiast, I want to say May the 4th be with you always, a little bit ahead of time, because May 4th is the day to celebrate Star Wars, and I don't think I will have another show out prior to then. So again, thanks everyone. I wish you tremendous peace, happiness, great health, and until next time, this is Lavender Sky Panther wishing you well. Bye.